Hi everyone, Tammy here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about custom dolls. Specifically, I'm going to discuss where you can buy a custom Blythe doll. Some of the information I give you might be relevant to other types of customized dolls, but I am specifically talking about my personal experience buying customized Blythe dolls, and I have one here. This is Tootie. I'll be talking about her more in the video. And basically, a customized Blythe doll is a one-of-a-kind doll where a customizer has taken the doll and an artist has reworked the doll. They have done things like carved the faceplate, given them a face-up, like adding eyebrows here, blushing, changed out the eye chips, maybe even carved the eye sockets to make them larger, rebody them, add beads, there's a new scalp, there's all kinds of things customizing involves, but it basically means taking an original doll and reworking the doll into a one-of-a-kind piece of art. So the reason why I decided to talk about where you can buy custom dolls is because somebody asked me. And not only did this person ask me where she could buy them at, she unfortunately had been shopping over at AliExpress and she saw a customized doll there and thought she could buy it for $50, because what happened was when I went to go, she sent me the listing link and I went to go look at it, and the thing was that the seller was being totally honest. It's just that this person was such a noob, she didn't understand. But she had seen a doll over there that the vendor was selling a fakie, and then as part of showing what you could do with the fakie, she had a customized doll that was made from that particular fake doll that she was selling. And the person thought, oh, that picture, I could buy that specific doll. And I had to break it to her. No, she's not selling that doll for $50. And so typically my experience is prices range anywhere from $150 for a doll that needs some work, some help, some love, something's wrong with it, okay, to up to $2,000, if not more. You know, I would say if you really want a high end, it's easy to find them in the $1,000 range by very experienced, well-known artists. So yeah, so they're not cheap. So it's something that if you want a customized doll, you really have to spend time researching it. And I'm going to talk about scams as well at the end of this video, about customizing scams. In fact, maybe I'll put Sorry away and we can bring her out when I do that, because I did get a little bit scammed with her. So we'll talk a little bit about scamming at the end. I don't want to put a negative spin on it, because there are a lot of wonderful artists out there that will not scam you. But I do think I have to probably mention that. So yeah, so we'll put Sorry away. We'll take her out later. All right, so where are my dresses? Hopefully I can do this. I can dress dolls and talk at the same time. It's sort of like, was it chewing gum and walking at the same time? I'm getting my dolls ready for Valentine's, a little Valentine's display. And so I'm switching out, and I pulled a bunch of dresses that are pink and red. I'm also sewing some, so keep a lookout for videos about my sewing as well. All right, so where can you get a customized Blythe doll? First of all, I would recommend that you get to know various artists, and you can follow them on social media like Facebook and Instagram. Some of them actually have Facebook pages. Some of them have websites. For example, this doll right here, she was my first custom doll, and I purchased her from a website called MOU Handmade. That website is no longer around. If you try to go to MOU Handmade and Google it, it'll show up, but then you go over there and it's no longer a website. So unfortunately, unless somebody can tell me otherwise, because I have searched and searched for this artist, I would be interested in buying from her again. She doesn't make these dolls anymore, but at one time you could find her on Etsy. She had an Etsy shop, and she had she had a Facebook page, an Etsy shop, and she had her own website. She was out of Spain, and I don't know why she's not, doing the dolls anymore. She's an example of an artist I found through social media, And then I started to just follow her. And when I found a doll that I wanted, I purchased from her website. So, and you know, you really need to just check their websites and keep an eye on what they have available. Find an artist that you like, and the only way to do that is to do a lot of research. I mean, another way I'll find somebody is another collector will post a picture of a doll that they purchased, and then of course I fall in love with the doll and I'll ask, where did you get that doll? Okay. You know, where'd you get the doll? Because I want that doll, or I like the look of that doll, right? So that's something that, you know, by looking at what other people are collecting, asking, you know, who's the artist, following them on Facebook and Instagram, and, you know, checking out their websites. A lot of them are on Etsy. In fact, I'm going to include a list of links. There's Etsy, eBay, Facebook, Instagram, and there's also a website called dollycustom.com. I'll have all these links again in the description below. It has links to all kinds of artists, and then you can go directly to the artist. It also has little biographical information about the artist. So for sure, go to dollycustom.com and sign up for the newsletter there. I think that is a really good place to check out. So first of all, follow individual artists on social media, like I just said. Also, check into Facebook groups. There are a lot of Facebook groups that artists will sell their dolls through the Facebook groups, as well as other collectors. So, in fact, I used to have another doll. I sold her fairly recently, but I had another custom doll. I had planned on re-wigging her, and I wasn't able to do that. So I ended up reselling her because, you know, originally when I purchased her, my thought was I was going to change her scalp out, and I couldn't do it, and I wasn't keen on her hair. So I resold her. So that happens quite a bit. Somebody will get a doll, and you know, for whatever reason they decide to resell it. And so that's one source. You can check over on these Facebook groups. Check out Facebook groups where other doll collectors sell their pre-owned dolls, and also where artists will sell their dolls as well. And also that's a place that's part of your research, where if you follow them on these groups and see, you know, what dolls they sell, how much they sell them for, do other people buy the dolls? You could even, if you see somebody who has a doll that you like and that ended up buying it, you could contact that person and say, hey, when you got that doll, what did you think of it? You know, so you can network with other doll collectors and find out what they got and what they liked. All right, so she's cute. She needs some shoes, but otherwise I think she looks pretty cute in this. Yes, I love this dress. I think I got this from Mimi Gijo. Not 100% sure though. Don't quote me on that. All right, so another place that you can check, of course, like I mentioned, Etsy. Etsy is actually a really, really good source to go over there, and that is where I purchased this doll. This doll I purchased from an artist who has a shop over there called Funny Funny Doll. And if you look for her, you have to actually type in all as one word, no spaces, Funny Funny Doll, all together. She is a Russian artist. I adore this doll. I call her Tootie. By the way, this is Dixie. So this is Tootie. She kind of got it. She has a bit of an attitude. So she is a fakie that this artist, like I said, customized. She had her on her shop, and I stocked and hummed and hawed. She is probably one of the most expensive, for me, stock dolls that I've purchased. And totally worth it. It was a really good shopping experience. I loved the doll. She actually has mohair for her hair. It's not a weft, and I can't remember what you call this now because my mind's going blank. You can see, so this doll is actually got the signature of the artist on the back. So definitely Etsy is a really good place to check out artists. One thing I would say to be careful of there is this, and I don't understand why they do this, but sometimes some artists will put a doll up for some crazy amount, like $9,999. I've seen them do that. Some of the, especially actually a lot of the Russian artists, and I don't understand what the reasoning is for that, but I suspect it is they're trying to make sure nobody buys the doll. Maybe it's on a reserve for somebody. So don't be put off if you see that. That doesn't really mean they're selling dolls for $10,000, okay? There's just no way. But Etsy is definitely a place to check. Another place to check is eBay, and especially with eBay, because eBay does not require the sellers to have made the item like many Etsy shops do. So eBay will often have collectors who are reselling dolls that maybe they purchased, and that can actually be a good place if you're interested in getting a doll that you might need to have some that you might need to customize extra yourself. Just be careful. Again, check the, one of the nice things with both Etsy and eBay is that they have feedback from buyers, so that is something you can check over there. All right. So in fact, this doll is a doll that I purchased from somebody in a group, in a Facebook group, and I was told that something was off with her a little bit. In fact, she had very weird hair. It was just this greasy mess, and so I put a new scalp on her. I will have a link. I'll have a link to the unboxings of all my custom dolls below if you want to take a look. See. Basically, follow artists on social media like Facebook, Instagram. Check them out on Etsy, check them out on eBay. Definitely join some dolly groups, and you got to really do your research. So now let's talk a little bit about possible scams, and unfortunately that does happen in the doll world, and it's not something that is fun to talk about, but I think it's really important to be aware of it. And this is why, again, you do research. You need to, like when I talk to my students when it comes to writing, I always say, especially when you're doing some sort of research paper, I like to say become part of the conversation. So you don't necessarily have to be an expert on doll collecting in order not to get ripped off, just like you don't necessarily have to be an expert on whatever topic you're writing about in my English class. But if you become part of the conversation where you are aware of trends in the doll world, or you have some understanding of your subject matter, if you're writing or whatever, if you're part of the community in the doll world, then there is less likely of you getting ripped off. And again, it comes down to, doing your research. So here we have Sorry, and when I first got her, I think I have like 3 videos about her. When I first bought her, I have like the unboxing video, and then I have a video where I talk about how, because when I unboxed her, she was missing an eyeball, and her head was like super big open. It was like barely closed, hardly hanging on by a thread, and one of her eyeballs was rolling around in her head. And that is not what the person told me. I bought her pre-owned, and the person did not tell me that she would come like that. And there was also problems. I paid the person, and she kept telling me she mailed the doll, but she wouldn't. When I would check the tracking number for the doll, it said it hadn't been mailed. So there were many problems, okay, with this doll in this buying situation. So I will say, in hindsight, I'm trying to remember how much I paid for her. It was well below $200 from what I remember, but it wasn't that much below, honestly. So it was below $200. So that maybe should have been a little bit of a red flag. This doll I bought from somebody I did not know through a Facebook group. And I don't really know how I would have known if there's any red flags. Now that I think back on it, we had, I did ask for extra pictures. I will say that's something, if somebody posts a doll for sale and they have like one picture, or they have, you know, a couple of pictures and they're blurry or whatever, there seems to be a reluctance to show you every single bit of that doll. Then I say don't buy the doll. Or at the very least ask for more photos. And I know that can kind of be like a turnoff to buyers, but I feel like if you're going to sell a doll and you don't want to show pictures of the doll, then what's your problem? What's going on? What are you hiding? You know, like some of it's just laziness. I mean, I get that. That can be a pain. You know, I have some doll clothes now I need to sell, and I posted a bunch of pictures on my timeline, but I haven't posted them in any of the Facebook groups yet. And I know if I do, I could probably sell them, but I'm just, you know, I'm lazy. What can I say? So I get that, but if, you know, so definitely in hindsight with that particular purchase, and this is something I've done since then, if I feel like there aren't enough pictures to give me a really good idea what the doll looks like, and I want the doll, I ask for pictures of the side of the head. See, you can see her head won't really close all the way. I mean, some people might say, well, that's no big deal, but you should know that before you buy the doll. That's my thing, is that the person didn't show me this. She had pictures where she had it covered up. So if I'm interested in a doll now, especially a pre-owned doll, I'll say, let me see the sides of the head. Okay. In fact, I think I did that with this doll, and the woman was like, you want to see the side of the head? But I'd getting burned, you know, and see, hers clothes is just fine. So this is like a legit, you know, this is a legit seller. She showed me, she took extra pictures for me, and then I did buy the doll. So yeah, so that's something. But as far as, there are some scammers out there, and some of them have websites, and I'm not going to reveal the names of the websites because websites can come and go. People can buy a URL today and then sell it tomorrow to someone who's legit. But I will say there are scammers out there who will target people, especially new Blythe collectors. And if there is a website that is selling other people's customized dolls, that is something to be leery about, because customized dolls are one-of-a-kind dolls created by artists one at a time, okay? Even if some of the dolls look similar, like this woman who did the MOU handmade, she has almost all her dolls practically look the same. I'm going to just say. But to me, that means she has kind of a look, right? She has an aesthetic, which is fine. There's a website out there that claims it's selling customized dolls. Be really, really careful. The reason why is because there's a couple of things that these scammers will do. One thing they'll do is they'll go over to somebody's site, like an Etsy seller site, and take pictures from that site, download the pictures that the artist has of the doll, put it on their site, and claim they're selling it to you. Then they'll either sometimes, you know, you won't get the doll at all, or if you do get the doll, it's going to take forever, because what they're doing is they're going to go buy the doll from the seller, from the Etsy seller, and then mark it up and sell it to you. So you have to wait for them to purchase the doll. They don't even have the doll in inventory. Okay, people, they're just reselling it. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to buy people's customized dolls and resell them, that's totally up to you. But if you're claiming that you have this doll for sale in your shop and you don't, then that's a ripoff. That's a scam. Another thing that they'll do is they will claim that a doll is customized, and they'll give you they'll actually, again, not really have the doll in stock, and show a picture of a doll that they don't own from an AliExpress site. Some of the AliExpress sellers now have dolls that kind of look sort of customized. They don't look like the typical stock dolls. For example, they have matte faces, so their faces are matte, where instead of shiny, like all of these faces are matte here. But here's my stock Country Summer, okay? Stock Country Summer's face is shiny. I have not painted, she's not been customized. This is like the original doll, right? So one of the things that customizers will do will paint, they'll spray a matte finish over the doll after they've done a face-up, and so it has a matte finish. But you can actually buy fake dolls that already have a matte finish. So I've seen them for sale at some of these questionable websites, and they're claiming that they are customized dolls, but in reality, they're not. They're just fake dolls that have a matte spray on them. That's it. So they're not really, there's nothing custom about them, honestly. And the thing is, the AliExpress person is not saying that they're custom either. That's just an option. They actually call it frosted over there instead of matte. So if you go to AliExpress and they have a frosted finish, that's a matte finish. It's not shiny like the stock dolls. So these questionable websites will put pictures from AliExpress on their site, claim that that doll is customized, and try to sell that doll to unsuspecting newbies who don't realize the difference. And you know, there's a lot to the Blythe doll world to learn. It's not something that, you know, I'm still learning. That's one reason I find it so interesting. I'm still learning about these dolls, and so it's not something that everybody's able to understand right away. And you know, people who aren't nice can take advantage of that sometimes. So so yeah. Right, so I'm getting some shoes out. I've got everybody in some new dresses, and now we're going to check on maybe switching their shoes out. So just try to be careful about getting scammed. If you really like the one-of-a-kind aspect of having a Blythe doll, I think it's totally worth it. I love my little small collection here I have of customized Blythe dolls. Obviously, I wouldn't mind having more. You know, it's something that these dolls they've become very special when, you know, you realize there's no other doll like this particular doll. There's no other doll out there that looks like this doll, that I have the only one. That's kind of a really cool thing to have as part of your doll collection. As usual, please make sure you give me a thumbs up and that you hit the bell icon and subscribe, and have a wonderful dolly day. Bye!